Welcome to Sports Jazz, Isaac, Guitar David, and we are back with the full reaction. Manchester City beats Man United on penalties 7-6 after going or drawing 1-1 full time. And I must say, I really love the quality of the penalties. Lisandro Martinez, Nunez, then you had Akanji, you had Addison, you had who else? Fernandez, Haaland. Very beautiful goals. But yeah, once again, welcoming you to Sports Guys. Do not forget to subscribe, like, and share our videos. And let's set it off, Josh. I'm going to start with you, Josh. You're a Man United fan. You disappeared yesterday. You couldn't stand the watch along, or rather the day before yesterday, because you knew what was going to happen, as I did predict. So please, Josh, tell me what do you think of the game? I mean, why did United lose the game? And also, I'm surprised why didn't Joshua Zakzi, your namesake, get at least 10 minutes? Because I thought maybe he would come in the second half.
Well,
Josh,
first of all, United did not lose the game.
what?
First of all, you should know that United did not lose the game, and I did not run anywhere. And your prediction was also very wrong. It was not a 3-1. Uh, it was a 1-all draw. It was a
Okay.
1-all draw. But if you know the history of that cup and the purpose for it was put, it was arranged that at least the people were given something to cheer about. So it goes to penalties. But I'm sure United would have won the game in extra time. That being said,
Yeah.
the match itself, it wasn't a really great game. It was like an extended preseason game. Both teams started out too slow. They were a bit sloppy. They were misplacing passes here and there.
Mm.
But you could see that the players of United who came back late and played that game, like Fernandez, Kobe Mainu, and the like, when they got hold of it, they started to get hold of the game. There were some patterns that were really positive. You could
Mm.
see that there was a good style of play from Eric Ten Hag, a style that has intent on scoring more goals than your opponent. United was good, especially in attack. The patterns were very good on the right hand side of Amad Diallo. We were almost playing a rondo with Fernandez, Amad Diallo, and Dallo. You know, they all came so close. There were about 5 players in that space. So that was good to see. But we still found out that we have problems. We still have problems at the back. You wouldn't want to be starting Evans and Maguire, I mean, in 2024 as your center backs and Manchester United. But
Yeah.
we do know where we are, and we must reinforce. We must buy a few new players. But on the whole, the game was good, and United, like I had expected, was going to do everything to get something from this game.
Thank you. Yes. David, you want to say something? Your mic is muted. Unmute, David. You want to say something? I mean, about the game? I know you
Nah,
were
not
happy
much.
when I know you were very happy when Josh lost the game. You being an Arsenal fan.
So I just have one small takeaway from the game,
Yes, please.
and it's probably something we're going to start to see going forward. I realized
Mm,
that Ten Hag started with a back four that comprised only centre backs. So we can't call that a principle at this point, but it looks like
yeah.
the equalization of methodologies among the managers is becoming more, apparent. And
Yeah.
I think we're going to see a competition of styles this season. I think Ten Hag is in a place where he's more comfortable with the teams he has now. He seems to be more confident, and that reflected also in the game. Trusted a few new faces, right? So for me, as much as it's a glorified friendly, I could take away some positives, especially for United side. City had
Yeah.
7 non-starters, for lack of a better word, non-regular starters. I mean, they were not regulars. According to the squad we're used to seeing Pep fielding. But still, that is Man City. That is Man
Oscar
City.
Bob had a very, very great game, by the way, yesterday.
Bob, we've spoken about him here a lot.
Yeah,
I'm glad we had a chance to see him at that level. So
Yeah.
let's just look forward to what the season holds. Man United looks definitely like it's in better shape. So kudos for them. I agree, didn't exactly feel like a loss, but at least it gave us a chance to see how far Ten Hag has gone with his new direction.
True. Oh, and
Yeah.
about Joshua Zirkzee,
Yeah.
like Ten Hag said, I didn't expect Joshua Zirkzee to play that game, though I thought he would come off the bench. But he had earlier indicated that he's not yet ready. He's a bit behind. When you look at the players who came back late, others are ahead of him. But he will come. He will come. He will come when he's fit and ready to go. He's just not yet there yet.
Thank you. Guitar in a minute. Wrap it up.
Yeah, a minute is not fair for me. One,
You have 2 minutes.
okay, thanks. Like Josh said, the game started a bit slow.
Yeah.
I think United was having difficulty at the back, given that the two centre halves are not ball progressing kind of players. They are not comfortable with the ball. So you ended up seeing Onana drop long balls for the first half. But as they grow into the game, United started asking questions. I was quite impressed with the kind of interplays that the players, United players, were having. This was showing you. Imagine they didn't have a striker, but you could see what the progression. There were three clear chances that United could have tucked away. However, I had an issue with Ten Hag's selection. I do not know why. One for reason, Licha or Lisandro Martinez is actually quite better as a
The
left
butcher.
centre back, Butcher, than as a left back, and he was a bit struggling with a what, with a
Oscar
winger.
Bob.
Yeah, with Oscar Bob a bit in especially in the first 30 minutes he was struggling. But well, he's a good defender. You may not see it, but he was struggling, and I couldn't understand why he brought on Pelestri rather than Amas, who, like Josh said, this is a
Pelestri coming
community.
on and playing right back.
Yes, like
Yeah.
you see, this is a charity. This is a charity shield. Like the proceeds are going to help the community, and but so this, it's like an extension of a pre-season, although it marks the beginning of a season. I would
Yeah.
have preferred if he played Amas, give this kid an opportunity, and then because you even see Pelestri is ideally a winger. He doesn't know how to play as a right back. So I as a fullback. So I was a bit disappointed with that. But if we are to go, if this is to show us glimpses of what United is to do, I was happy with the 4-4-2 Diamond Compact that happens to turn into sort of like a 4-2-4. The pressing was really good. They really pressed, even when they were playing a mid block, you could see the pressing was good. At some point, you saw Edison doing those long passes. So for me, it with new signings coming aboard and a striker perhaps in the season, United is something I look forward to seeing United's play. Like David said, it's interesting. It's exciting to see the next season what's going to bring. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, Guitar. So yeah, and Josh, I myself, I think Rashford, Jadon Sancho had a very, very horrible game yesterday. I know Rashford had his moment. There's that shot that did hit the post. Then there's another one where I felt he should have carved the ball to go in, but he didn't. He didn't. If you saw the goal, or the match between Liverpool and Sevilla, the second goal that Diaz scored, it was almost the same goal, or the same thing that Rashford should have done. So, what's next for Rashford and Jadon Sancho? Do you think United fans should expect anything better Because I personally, I don't think they're going to do better. Josh, you're on mute. Please unmute.
Well, from Rashford, you can always expect at least a threat when you select him to be in your side.
But
He
it's not
can
going to give you his
dribble,
full
he can
potential.
dribble, he has pace. It's up to you and the coaching staff to get him in the right state of mind. And if he cannot be in the right state of mind
Josh,
in the moment, then you can
Josh,
play Ganacho. You can play Ganacho. He's there. But
Josh, we've been
yes,
waiting for Rashford to get into the right state of mind ever since. I would say,
he just did a season ago and gave you 30 goals. Then if you know about the player and all the excuses or reasons that he gave for the bad season
yeah, he
last
lost
season,
someone. We
yeah,
understand.
he
Yeah,
lost someone who was, he went through a lot as a human being. We demand a lot from these players because we are fans to these football clubs. We see how much money they are paid to do for us a service that we think they should actually be nailing it every time. But they are human beings. Let's not forget. I mean, tragedy can happen in someone's life, and things go differently. But that being said, I think Rashford should have at least hit the target with the first attempt. The one he attempted to curl and it went outside. For the
yeah.
second one, I don't really blame him. It was on his left foot. It hit the shin. He just being in that position. I prefer a player like Marcus Rashford, who will always be a threat to the opposing defender, than a player like Jadon Sancho, who will tuck away 2 goals in like 7 games, but is disinterested in playing. You watch him for 7 games, and it's like he doesn't even want to play. But he will do some magic and score some 2 beautiful goals, and the back pages will be singing praises about him. But Jadon Sancho should leave United. I think it's time.
Yeah, agree.
Ganacho, yeah, he should leave United. Marcus Rashford and Ganacho should fight for that position. Amad
Yeah.
Diallo seems to not have a competitor on the right wing for
Yeah.
now. But
Amad
you know
Diallo,
that Ganacho,
man of the match for me. Man of the
yeah,
match for me. Great in the attack, great decision
imagine man of
making,
the
great
match for you,
runs.
but he
I
played
don't see
just
Anthony. I don't see
50
Anthony
minutes.
getting. I don't see Anthony playing ahead of him. Honestly, Anthony has
And
to really, really, really
I
work hard.
cannot write off Anthony because of the player that he is. I've watched Anthony at a certain point, and I wanted Man United to sign the kid. I mean,
Anthony is a
this.
left back being wasted.
No, when I watched him at Ajax, the few games that I watched him, I enjoyed the player. I enjoyed what he was about. He was making assists. He was scoring goals. He was beating players. But he has also gone through a bit of a torrid time in his
Mm.
personal life, and I do believe that now he has a chance. This is a
Thank,
chance. This season will be a chance for him.
thank you, Josh. Yes, Guitar. What's next for Rashford and Sancho?
Well, first of all, grouping them into some kind of bad cluster is not fair. I agree with Josh. I'll start with Jadon Sancho. I don't think Jason Sancho's mind is even in United.
Mm,
The real reason he's still around is perhaps no team has really come forth to buy him or can afford the kind of price that United
wages.
had placed. The
Mm,
wages and all that, yes, the whole financial package. He like he's that person who he'll dribble a few players here and there, but the delivery, the execution is just off. I just don't see, when you're seeing the team play, you just don't feel like he's part of the team. There's no cohesion while he's in there. It's like, that sorry to use this, it's like a prosthetic arm that has just failed to attach to the body. But for when you think of Rashford, yes, Rashford has. I don't know. I don't know if it's he's having some his mindset, but Rashford will when he steps up, he'll give you a good game. As to yesterday's missed chances, that can happen to any player maybe off form. We have seen great players miss great chances and then they pick up. So for me, Rashford, I would rather give him, of course, if at a good price and you get a good replacement, then you can think of selling him. But I would still want to give him a chance. And I was genuinely impressed with. Not he didn't play. He wasn't perfect. He was fair, but I
I think
was
he's
rather
doing what he's
impressed.
been doing last season.
No, not
No,
at
no, no,
all.
I'm
no,
telling
no.
At
you,
least
to
if
me,
you
to
saw
me,
Rashford.
to
No,
me, trust me, he's
that's
doing
unfair.
what he's been
That's
doing
unfair
last
because
season. There's nothing that has
Rash,
changed.
no, the whole preseason, his
The
attitude has
pressing,
changed.
his attitude has
Yes,
changed. The
his
pressing
attitude
is
has changed,
different. I don't
and
know
like the
if we are to
adaptation
go.
to the. Sorry.
Sorry. Yes. In the first 10 minutes, I saw Lisandro backing at him, not being able to track back. But he started doing that, and he started pressing. Remember, he was pressing, tracking back as well as pressing.
Yeah.
So, unlike Sancho, when you remember the game that United lost to Liverpool, I really saw Sancho's lost in that game. So, for me, no, you can't compare the two. I agree
Because
with
for me,
Josh.
Thank you. Yes,
I don't
before
think that it's.
David comes in. Yeah.
Yeah, for me, I don't think that it's even about tracking back, because he doesn't have to track back. He just has to understand the tactics of his manager. And through the preseason, I've seen that Rashford is adapting to the tactics the manager has set out. He wants Amad Diallo and Marcus Rashford to come a little bit inside before the false nine and maybe the 10 press, and Rashford has been doing that excellently. I don't want you to come back and track back all the way to the left back. Just press, just do what you have to do. Follow your man.
Thank you, Josh. Yes, David, you haven't said really much.
Yeah.
Tell me what you
For
think
me,
about both Rashford and
Rashford
Sancho.
is a personal favorite of mine. I've been singing his praises for a number of years now. But
Okay.
when you put yourself in, Josh and Zach have been talking about, the context of the player and how he's come to almost appear lukewarm. And when you see the environment at United, he's seen so many projects in just a few short years. He's seen projects booted and rebooted, and that has an effect, especially on those the players of that profile. Yes, we can talk about how good he is. There's no doubt about his quality, but you have to feel almost as though these players can get fatigued by the interruptions. A new manager after a couple of months, another new manager, and then one of the things I'm looking forward to this season is actually Rashford, right? It seems there is some stability that has been restored at United with Ineos and all the other things that are coming out of that. Hopefully, this season he gets some redemption, but that is a quality player. We saw how he was playing in the few preseason games that before the.
Thank you, Bertram. Please.
I really want to see what happens this season.
And how about Sancho? There's rumor that PSG wanted to take him, or in other words, were preparing a bid, but that rumor has faded away after PSG signed Desire. Is it Desire or Desire?
So,
yeah, from
Desire
that whole has gone away. It looks like they are no longer interested in signing signing Sancho. What's next for Sancho?
Sancho is
Does
a
he have
very,
any
very
future, or he
curious
should be
case.
moving out?
I agree with what the guys have said. He just appears disinterested, and for me, it's almost strange because I saw him at Dortmund last season, right? And he was a completely different figure. He was a very different figure, very exciting. Right from the first game, he was assisting, creating. He seemed to have come to life almost, so to speak, at Dortmund. And then at United, there's a timidity about him. It's like
he's not sure of himself.
The analogy Zach used was spot on. Like he's just out of place. He's odd. He looks odd in that outfit. So I agree. If he can,
he just does not have suitors.
Yeah.
He just does not
his
have
wages
suitors,
are probably
but
standing in the way, but he needs to move on.
Yeah.
Thank you. So, guys, I will go first. The positives and negatives to pick from the Man United losing on penalties. first things first, I think United did well, more than I even thought they would. The first 25 minutes, they were not so good, but they picked up. They started playing well. Amad Diallo, again, man of the match for me. He was terrific. He has been superb even throughout the preseason. Then we have Casemiro. I think he did good. They didn't connect so well with
Yeah,
Mino in the midfield, but
mine
Casemiro
was a
did.
not sure.
Yeah. Casemiro did so well. We had Garnacho, who looked sharp, came on, scored a goal. He was crossing on well. We had Mason Mount. I think he should follow suit with Rashford. I don't know wherever he's supposed to go.
With
Seriously,
Sancho.
that pass that Ahmad did
I
give to him, did
know.
pass to him. If it
He
was
didn't anticipate
Rasmus,
the
No,
move.
no,
if it
no,
was
no, no,
Rasmus,
no.
Yeah,
no,
he didn't
wait,
anticipate the
I-
move.
Gita, that was a tap in. That was supposed to be a tap in.
That was a
You're
tapping.
supposed to be
He
sharp.
didn't.
You
He
know
didn't
you're in front of the
anticipate.
goal.
He's not.
And
Why?
Guys,
Why are you
guys,
he's
not
supposed to
anticipating when you're
anticipate.
the
That's what I'm
false nine?
supposed. That's
You're
what I'm
supposed
saying.
to
He's supposed to
anticipate.
anticipate.
The reason that
Hold-
you put on
Can
the
I
pitch as a
hold
false
on?
nine is to give us goals. Now,
Hold on.
when Amad Diallo beats a couple of players and puts himself in a position, yes, he could have tucked it away. He could have slotted it in home himself. But if he plays the pass into Mason Mount, as in that's your place, that's your position. That's why
Couldn't
you
even
Can I say
just
anticipate.
something,
Okay,
guys?
Guitar. Besides that, where did
A
you see him
second.
shine?
A second. A
You
second.
have 30 seconds.
I'm not talking about him shining. I'm talking about
Uh,
that particular incident.
you are
Ahmad Diallo could
sleeping.
have opened up his body and
That is
tucked it in the
correct.
corner. Everyone
Correct.
expected him to do that.
Agreed.
no,
Agreed.
no.
Now listen,
No,
guys. I listen to you. Let's
okay.
do this. Um, Mason Mount is not a striker. That is an instinct for a typical forward. It is not for a player who plays as a number 8. You understand? No one would have anticipated. Everyone, even when you are watching that, well done. When you are watching that particular move, that particular set play they were having, everyone expected Amad Diallo to just tuck it in the left corner. So there was no way you would expect him to pass it along and score. First of all, these players are not playing together. But that said, it's yes, he didn't have a really game that you could talk about. But that particular incident, I cannot blame him for that.
Yes, David, your take on that?
No, I don't even want to enter into the nitty gritties. For me, United, as odd as it sounds, just looked promising. For the first time, they defended well. Their defensive structure was sound. So there's, of course, those few issues that you guys are highlighting. But for me, I feel like those are just United feelings.
Yeah, and another feeling to underline another feeling to underscore this whole game. There was still major problems for United. Yeah, we were inconsistent in the press in some spells of the game. There's a particular moment we looked like United of last season. We left Casemiro by himself in the middle of the park. There was like a huge.
Mino was not.
Can
I'm not
I?
sure. Yes,
Mine didn't show up. McTominay was a passenger.
Yes, please.
Let me interject there. You see, with the kind of system, we had pressed up front with 5 players up front. Now, what's supposed to do? The back line is supposed to move towards the center of the pitch. Yes. Now, what happened is that our center backs were far off at the back, so that leaves a big gap. Now, when you see players and that's why you see when we have
that's true.
That's why we see Lisandro kept on moving into the center of the pitch, yet he's supposed to have stayed the other side. So the press is you can't blame the players that had gone to press. It's the center backs who are also supposed to follow suit.
I agree with you. I agree with you. But what I'm saying is, you must at all times press as a team. Like Mason Mount cannot press, and Fernandes has not yet pressed. And you should wait for the trigger. They did it, but there was some inconsistency.
Okay, guys, we have a really another interesting topic waiting. But real quick, did you guys see that goal that was disallowed from Bruno.
Yeah,
It was going
but
to be
that's Bruno.
a goal. I know, a goal to talk
That's
about.
Bruno for you.
And also, yeah, one other thing that I did notice, Gita did talk about it. I think, not I think, but Lisandro Martinez is far much better as a CB than playing as a left back. I know we're missing and lacking in that area, but he's really, really, really much better playing as a CB. Onana should stop those funny things. I know every keeper has his own way, but those things, acting like he's a traffic officer, telling or pointing where one should score, then he
That's
doesn't.
okay.
He
That
goes
I
so
didn't
down
have a
very
problem
fast.
with that.
I think that's okay.
Actually,
I think that's okay.
The only
No.
thing I had with Onana is him trying to act stupid while playing from the back.
Yeah.
It's okay for you to say that you're going to take a
Playing
few
with the ball.
risks.
Yeah.
No, that's okay. But it's okay for you to say you're going to take a few risks. But you cannot see Maguire being pressed and there's Lisandro Martinez open. You can pass the ball to, but you make a good pass to Maguire. As in Maguire under pressure, my heart was in my hands. As in, I just don't know what Maguire will do the next minute because they were pressing him. The pass was good.
Yes.
Onana made a good pass, but why are you risking like that? Wait, when you have players who can play the ball, then you can play
Josh,
to them.
let's move on to a topic where David can say something.
Please.
As he said, he doesn't want to go into the whole United thing. But yeah, David, real quick, before or as we close the reaction, Man United being beaten by Man City, I just wanted to ask, let's not take so long on this. Is Man City still the team? Is it still the unbeatable team? Are we going to see the same team that played well last season?
Yeah, I believe that this season, Guardiola has had moments in the past where and I'm just using this very loosely, where he's had to almost be in cruise control, where the players at his disposal had absorbed him enough to simply just play and get the job done. So, more to the point, the game revealed that this season, more than before, or more than the recent or the last 2-3 seasons, Guardiola is going to have to actually be the best player at Man City because he doesn't have any, very superior players like he's had in the past. In the past, you could look at a couple of the players and say maybe that's the best player in the Premier League. That's the best player in the Premier League. It's not the case anymore. Is how I see it. Kevin De Bruyne we can actually agree he's moving past his prime. Who else can you think of, right? He's now bringing it. It's almost as though he's building a new project. And these players, Oscar Box and all those.
He's taken too long building the new project. He should have done the new project last season.
So they've been a bit of there've been a few uncertainties in the background also for him, his tenure at the club. But this season is going to truly test him. I remember Xavi said there were games when he was in Barcelona. There were games where he was occupied with other duties, and he would leave the captain, Xavi, one of the captains, to conduct the training sessions, and they knew exactly what to do, especially before like an important game. But one of the things they used to struggle with was actually analysis. And why is that important? Because now we're seeing so many, loosely speaking, still Guardiola clones in the Premier League, in the managers. So the principles have spread. The principles of that kind of football, the proactive type of play, have spread out, and everyone understands how that is supposed to work. Now we're going to see Guardiola, the analyst. We're going to see how he solves Man City's problems. I truly think he'll be the best player for Man City this season. And if that goes well, I don't see a problem why they wouldn't take a fifth one.
Yes, yes, Gita.
I think, I agree. Man City, for me, is still a force to reckon with. Guardiola just needs, aside from another different angle to what David has said, is that Guardiola just has to look for how to motivate his players, the players, into going for a fifth trophy. And of course, in addition to getting, new players for, the rebuilding the team as he sees fit. So for me, the question is how he best motivates the players into going for this, with the players running out, with kind like De Bruyne, losing us, but some of the key players are still there, like Rodri. For me, I still believe Rodri is their, their keystone, their key player in terms of turning around how City wins or loses a game.
Yeah.
Kovacic is still has some few years with him. So with the changes with De Bruyne and Bernardo Silva, it's just new players who are going to be feeding into their striker Haaland. So I think for me the key issue would be, and seeing from a different angle, is how to motivate the players into going for the fifth title.
Thank you. Yes, Josh, real quick. Man City
Yeah, I
is still
do.
the bit. Is still the team.
Yeah, I do agree with Davi. I mean, 100%. Guardiola is their best player this season because when you look around, they don't really have much. They do have talented players, but they really must be managed in a manner that helps them even produce the goods. So he has to find a way to motivate them. You could see that he's already talking to the fans that you're going to push us. You're the most important this season, because he knows he has to find some extra motivation for his team to go again.
Okay. Thank you so much. Yeah, that was a very beautiful insight. And guys, now let's move on to the best part of the whole stream. Manchester United set to announce, delete, and Mazarawi as official as Manchester United players. Medicals are done. 45 million euros and 5 million euros add-ons for delete. Then also you add Mazarawi, who is coming in for 15 million euros and 5 million euros upfront. Altogether that is a combination of 70 million euros. Now, why I say this deal is really nice. Gerard Brathwaite, how much did they say? Everton, 75 million
70.
pounds. I mean, the deal that, in other, what Dan Ashworth is doing at Man United, Curtis of Ineos, I really think is a really, really great job getting those two players. I'm not saying players like Mazarawi are very, very, he's a high upgrade on Wan-Bissaka. No, I doubt that. But of course, going forward is very good. Yes, yes, David.
100%.
No, for real. Going forward is very good, but tackling and winning tackles is a bit.
I
You
think
can compare him to Bissaka.
I
Anyway,
disagree, but we'll get into
Anyhow,
okay, okay. In other words, congratulations to Manchester United. The fans, Josh, I know you must be over the moon. I want to get your opinion first. How excited are you to have both players join Manchester United?
Excited is an overstatement, because as a United fan, I'm a bit apprehensive about the signings of Delete and Mazraoui, because these players have had a record of not being fit, as in Mazraoui himself. Last season, he missed about 76 days. The season before, he missed about 160 days. I mean, it's very difficult to have him fit, but when you have him fit, he's quite the player. So United has taken the gamble and signed these players, and the talent is there. They're really, really, really talented players. But even Delict had a problem with he last played beautiful football, consistently, when he was 19 years old. That's 5 years ago, when he was at Ajax under Ten Hag. I mean, he's had a lot of trouble. He went to Juventus. At Juventus, Mauricio Sarri took him there. Mauricio Sarri, he played one season. Sarri was sacked. Maximiliano Allegri came in. They didn't have the best of relationship. He lost his place to Demiro, and it was never the same for him. But by the time he left in the last season, he had played the most. He had played the most minutes of any outfield player at Juventus. So he was a good player. He moved on to Bayern. at Bayern Munich. He played well in the first season. He was injury free to say the least. He did play well, but he won even. He was drafted into the team of the season. But the next season, who took him there? The manager Nagelsmann, who took him there, was sacked. You know, and Tuchel came in. Tuchel signed a defender, and he didn't feel the defender was so good. In January, he even got Eric Dyer, and Eric Dyer was playing ahead of Matthias De Ligt. So I mean, yes, the injuries and the lack of game time at clubs like Bayern Munich and Juventus give me this feeling of he's a bit of a failure. But I know the talent that United has gotten.
I
Yes,
want to
David.
no
Gita, you're
before
going to
David
come in.
comes in. Before David
Okay.
comes in, I really want to interject there.
Yeah.
Now, I think De Ligt is one of the misprofiled players, and I think this is going to be a very, very good signing for United.
I
Now,
hope.
let me start. Let me make that argument. Let me start from where Josh has stopped. Josh mentioned his perhaps his time at Juventus. Now, we need to put sometimes some context into this. You can call it a cameo, but at that time when De Ligt went to Juventus, there was Bonucci and Chiellini, that center, that duo. And in
That's
fact,
what
there
I was
was
going to
actually
come to.
that trio of is it Basali, Bonucci, and
Exactly.
Chiellini. Yes, they used to even call it the BBC, the greatest trio, perhaps one of the greatest trio of Juventus. So there was no way he was going to upset that trio that had some kind of bigger chemistry than what he had. Keep in mind, there's a reason why this kid was captain of Ajax at 18 years. At 18 years, he has that ambidextrity, ability to play with both feet. He's very good as a left back, rather left center back, and a right center back. He has aerial prowess. He's very good in the air. He's a stopper, a sweeper. You remember this guy, Jürgen Collier? He kind of reminds me of him, and it's at 6'2", very good at commanding. That's what he wants. He wants, to play a leader. He's very excellent at reading the game. Now, yes, injuries have exhibited as like inhibited his kind of play because sometimes he's too aggressive. If you remember that game between Arsenal and Bayern last season, where he was so aggressive, sometimes he would, he would make some careless tackles.
Yeah.
But the injuries for me are not a major concern. If you can get him to play even half of the season, that for me would be a very good add-on. You will see if you have him together with Lisandro, that kind of combination, you're going to see a very good United. He's very good with the ball. Even that inter-switch with switching the ball, he's very good at doing that. We remember Evans last season when he made those passes that led to a Fernandez goal. You're going to see several of those. So for me, I disagree. Yes, he's injury prone, but they have not bought a sort of like weak player. They have actually bought a good player. Just keep him fit. You'll get some good results.
Thank you. Yeah, David, coming to you. Guitar's made I won't call it an excuse, but he has given a great insight. I mean, why maybe he didn't perform well at Juve, but he also remember Bayern came for him from Juventus, paid 67 million euros, went to Bayern Munich, still didn't perform so well. They had to get Upamecano. Kim came also. What could have been the problem? What went wrong with De Ligt? I mean, should we expect, as Gita says, is he going to perform so well at United?
Bayern Munich last season, the entire back line was rigged with injuries. See, the entire back line from the left to the right, they all struggled with injuries, right?
Yeah.
And that's because of the exposure they had at the front. I don't know why their defensive midfield was the way that it was. It wasn't, they failed to lock that one down. So they had a lot of rotation just ahead of the back line, and that affected the back line. The back line, whenever is not well protected, they are forced to do more defending. And remember, that kind of aggressive defending usually is erratic. It changes your style. It exposes you to aggression that you could have avoided and that type of thing. So I'm hesitant to say it's only Delete that suffered that, because even Upa went through the same stuff. The Asian guy, I forget his name. They all went through. Yeah, Kim Menjai. Yeah. Kim Menjai also got injured. So they had a lot of issues there at the back line. However, Josh Delete is a class defender. He's a class defender. His size alone.
Sorry, he's so beautiful. I like him.
Yeah, he's beautiful.
Zach almost gave his version twisting.
He's 6'2".
What I'm saying, but I was just showing
defender.
you that for the injuries that he has had.
Yeah, I want to, and then also let's not forget the guys that you have also have been unreliable because of injuries, which is Martinez. And for Martinez, I wonder why he was injured. Because Martinez's injury trouble is almost always self-created. Sometimes he's excessively aggressive, where he could have just used more anticipation and all that. He has that bloodlust a bit. I think it's the South American thing.
It's Argentine.
Yeah, he's Argentine. However, when we talk about Mazraoui also has the size. He looks a bit slight because he's thin, but he's tall. And I like Mazraoui's defensive tendencies because he uses more anticipation. And then when I look at a team like United, especially when you look at yesterday's game, okay, with the exception of Man City, half the time United wants to be the attacking team. You want to be the ones attacking. And that's why your side is getting in defenders who have a significant offensive contribution. Mazraoui is exactly that. He's a proactive defender. He will go ahead. And then he plays both sides. Last season at Bayern, he played on the left, on the right. He's an excellent player all round.
Yeah, but you got to pray for him to stay fit. Yeah. You got to pray for him to stay fit. The last thing that we need in our team, the last thing that we need in our team is to buy two players who are not going to be available. I mean, and we still play Evans and Maguire in a back four.
As for Evans, Maguire and Lindelof, TikTok.
That's what I was coming to. So guys, if you were to look,
sorry,
Mazraoui
Mazraoui is such a good player. I mean, I feel for Wan-Bissaka, but his time was done. No way United can want to progress with a defender whose best attribute is defending one-on-one, because most of the time the United is going to be on the front foot, so they want the defender to play the other side. So Mazraoui is a good signing, but we have to pray that they actually remain fit. Maybe De Ligt can revive his career under Ten Hag.
Let me give you a real quick of both arrivals and departures this transfer window. We have Lenny Euro, 62 million euros. Then we have Delete, who just finished his medical and is set to be announced later today with 50 million euros, of course, including add-ons. Joshua Zirkzee, 42.5, including the add-ons. Mazraoui, 20 million euros. Then if you go to the departures, you have Mason Greenwood. I wish he would have stayed. 26 million euros. Then you have Wan-Bissaka, who's aging to his move to West Ham with 17.5 million euros. Then Willie Kambwala, 10 million euros. Alvaro Carreras, 6 million euros. Then Van de Beek, 500,000. Can't believe. Then you have Rafael Varane free, Omari free, Anthony Marshall free. I even forgot about Marshall, by the way, and Brandon Williams. So this is it. Does Man United need another signing?
Isaac, before you go there, before you go in, I would like to say something on Mazraoui.
Yeah.
First of all, let me start with the statistics. Especially because we are comparing him a lot with Aaron Wan-Bissaka. When it comes to pressing, like the tackles and pressing, he's actually has I looked at the stats and he has 75% more than Aaron Wan-Bissaka. They put him at 2.39 per 90. So in the final third, he has 1.56 tackles per 90. That puts him at 80%, compared to Aaron Wan-Bissaka's 65%. So strictly looking at those stats, it's only when it comes to handling tackles of dribblers that where he falls short compared to Aaron Wan-Bissaka. And like Josh said, we are looking at for a more modern attacking fullback. He's very aggressive. His attacking contribution is so good with passes completed going at 88%. So for me, he's very progressive, and as David said, he uses both feet. He can play on the as a right back and as a left back. So, and is one of the attributes that I like about him. He can beat a press easily, without returning the ball to the goalkeeper. So for me, I want us to like Manchester United fans and everyone else to see football in a more progressive way than just relying on the typical fullback that is just going to defend. But when it comes to progression, they are not so good, or they are not so comfortable with under pressure and the ball. So apart from his injury record, which is a call for concern, I really think he would be a great addition. But United still needs to get maybe a midfielder.
Thank you. Yeah, by the way, I was saying, Josh, which other,
Yes.
of course, you're midfielder, CDM. How many players would you wish for United to sign, and which department?
If wishes were horses, I would have signed Zubimendi.
Forget about that. In fact, I have a bulletin about Zubimendi that just came out a
But
few minutes
real
ago.
fast, real talk is
Yeah.
I think United will get Manuel Ugarte, because Manuel Ugarte is the missing piece to Ineos's jigsaw. I mean, Thunderbird, but I think we shall sign Manuel
Well,
Ugarte,
it looks
because the
like the
problem
deal
is
on Man.
the
In fact, I
problem
wanted
with
to ask you, Josh. The deal on
yes, sorry.
Ugarte is still on. Looks like it's still on. Do you
Yeah,
have
the deal
anything?
on Ugarte is still on. The problem was always for Man United to find the money. Even if PSG reduced the fee to about 42 million pounds, United does not have the money until they let go of some players. Now, the problem is the player who can get us money is Scott McTominay. Yeah. At
Okay.
least we can get 30 million quid from Scott McTominay.
You can also lose
But
Casemiro.
no, the
Casemiro is
rest
going
of
to go
them,
cheaply. Maybe the wages.
the rest of them all are valueless.
Guys,
Why?
very
Because
good. Yeah, Josh.
they don't have suitors and their wages are so high.
Guys, in 30
Lisandro
seconds.
was.
Yeah. Get that quick.
That
You
is
were saying
Maguire,
Lisandro was what?
Lindelof, Casemiro.
For me, I think rather than focusing on Ugarte, United would bring in cheaper but effective players like Thunderbird, and maybe even
You guys really like Thunderbird.
get this guy, the Moroccan.
Yeah, but
that they had,
if I'm getting in
So-
I need two. I need Thunderbird and Manuel Ugarte.
No, you can get Thunderbird. You can get Thunderbird and Amrabat, because the money, you don't really have that money.
No. You can't have two Amrabats.
Guys, let's move on from that. We'll come back
Thunderbird
real
is
quick.
not an Amrabat. He's actually a different kind of player.
David, where do you see Lindelof and Maguire? In 30 seconds, where do you see the two players?
Yeah,
I think
I said that a few seconds ago.
Yeah, you did a few minutes ago. Yeah,
they're now facing the exit.
I also think, by the way, Maguire should have left last season.
Yeah,
but he's still here and he's going to see out his contract.
Maguire for a while now, but when you look at the profile of players coming in, we're looking at a step higher than what we've been used to at United. So he's truly looking at the exit now.
Thank you. Yeah, Josh, in 15 seconds, Maguire, should he be worried? Should he be looking for another team?
No, he shouldn't be worried. He should leave United.
Guitar?
I think they should just get rid of Maguire and Lindelof, like start a new backline with Lenny Euro Delict, and with Lesandro, you have Mazrui, Delo, and the young kid Amas. So that backline should see some new players and getting rid of about three of their old.
Only one of Lindelof and Maguire can leave for now because we
Both.
don't have enough cover in that
Okay.
back line.
Thank you, guys. Let's move on real quick
Both.
to
There is
Martin.
Evans.
Guys, let's move on to Evans. Let's move on to
He's staying.
Zubi. Yeah, he got 1 year contract, but that was a mistake. Let's move on to Zubimendi. I still think Real Sociedad has just said that news coming in is they've said Martin Zubimendi has to activate his release clause, him personally, the one for 51 million euros if he wants to leave the club. Now, I do think that is really that's putting
okay.
him in a very tight situation and position.
No, he can do it.
He's a
if he wants
kid,
to
a
leave.
boyhood child. You know, he comes right from the roots of Sociedad. It's the team he grew up supporting. So putting him in that position is a bit weird, honestly speaking, because there's no way he's going to do that. There's no way he's going to force out a move.
He can't do that. He can't do that. I mean, he has agents and he's a footballer and he knows that they are arm twisting me and I've been kind, I've been polite, I've made my case to them, but I don't think so.
Yeah, David, anything on Mikel Moreno? Because I know your team is still, Arsenal is still, the fans are still whining.
Man, negotiations are still on, according to Fabrizio Romano. There's also been talk of the club actually wants both players, Zubimendi and Mikel Moreno. They've tried to actually even offer them, the opportunity to be the highest paid players in the league, in the side. But apparently they haven't pulled away from negotiations with Mikel Moreno. So possibly something will give before. Maybe we'll see a frantic final few days of the window.
Yeah.
But I'm still optimistic about that one.
Thank you. Then another thing, Guitar, before we wrap it up, is Solanke joined Spurs, 65 million pounds. Was that a good deal, or they could have done better? I mean, I think that was too much. That was a lot of money for Solanke.
It was a lot of money, but I think they were desperate for a kind of striker. I think he's one of those underrated strikers. He was good. Remember last season, he really gave Manchester United a hard time. He's good at the aerial balls and as well as going into spaces. I think it was a good buy. Like perhaps they would have got him cheaper, but the market dictated. Perhaps they were desperate for. The market doesn't have so many good strikers you can buy at the moment, and not so many teams are releasing their strikers. So
can you rate for me Tony and Solanke?
I'll take Tony.
Of course, I'll take Tony, but there are so many considerations that they'll put. I don't think Tony would equally go with kind of the similar amount of money. So for them, Postecoglou's, at what age? How much money did what's his name, Harry Kane, go for in Bayern?
Harry Kane and Tony.
No, I'm talking about sometimes the age may not matter. The age may not matter depending on the kind of player you want to put in your system. So for me, I think it would be a great add-on for Postecoglou. I just think that they need more since they have, especially in their back line. But that would be a story for another day.
Okay, yeah, I also see Napoli's almost signing Lukaku on a permanent from Chelsea, permanent move. Then I think that's it. Let's wrap it up, guys. I don't know why you guys are laughing. Well, Chelsea is still buying.
Lukaku, man of the transfer window.
Julian Alvarez has finished. Has finished his medical. Joining set to be announced very soon at Atletico Madrid. We've seen Mazarawi and Delete. Also, the medicals are done. Things are going up so fast. Yeah,
Isaac, I just wanted to give you some news updates.
Please.
There was a sort of like a tripartite agreement between Chelsea, Man City, and Atletico Madrid. See, with Julian Alvarez going to Atletico, there was supposed to be a move for, is it Omorodorion,
Yeah, I saw
to
that
Yes.
saga.
to Chelsea, and
Very
then
Yeah.
dramatic.
so the other players have actually gone. Julian
Mm.
will be a Atletico Madrid player, but
Yao
Chelsea
Felix
have
is
not
coming in the mix now.
They've
Yeah, but
changed. They don't.
they have changed.
They no longer
They
want
are,
to sell Omorodion.
yes,
Yeah,
he's
yeah.
not moving. So
They
the
want
And
to
deal
sell
has
someone else.
The deal has actually collapsed. It has actually collapsed.
they brought in Yao Felix.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yao
That's right.
Felix. Yeah.
Anyway, guys, lastly, Lautaro Martinez, as Josh prefers to pronounce his name, Lautaro, putting in that
Lautaro.
Mexican or South what
What a
uh,
player.
Brazilian or South American accent, has signed a new contract at Inter Milan until 2029. And Vini has rejected a very massive deal from Saudi Arabia worth $1 billion, from what I'm reading. And lastly, Wan Bissaka has completed part of the first part of his medical
Who's rejected a
as
$1 billion deal?
Vinicius Junior.
Vini
Yeah,
Junior.
and yeah, I know. Very good. Adieri, shout outs to you. You're a Newcastle fan. Man United, sorry, not Man, why am I thinking about Manchester United? Newcastle has sent another bid, and it's being considered. It looks like they might finally get their man from Crystal Palace. That is it for today, guys. It's been amazing. We will come back tomorrow. Thank you for tuning in. Hit the like button. Sports Jazz, David, thank you for coming through. Guitar, Josh, I myself, Sports Jazz guys, once again. Guys, I think you can say, or you can say a word or two before we sign out. Josh, you should be happy. United, you just got 2 more players. You're not saying a word
Yeah,
to
yeah.
United fans.
I like to have the bodies anyway. And the league, I love them. I love the players. I just pray that they are fit to play. That's all.
Thank you.
Because I
Thank you,
know if
Josh.
they play, yes, that's all.
Thank you, guys. Shouting out to everyone who's been streaming with us live right from the start. Once again, Sports Jazz, subscribe, hit the like button. Cheers. See you soon.